Well, you know, it's really interesting. I went from being a med-surg nurse, where you work with people who are having surgery all the time, and you're prepping people. You know, you're prepping them to be prepared for what they're going to experience. And there's a lot of fear around these things. And so a lot of people that I deal with are already in a fearful state because they're either having a lot of pain and they don't understand their pain. It might be a chronic situation. You really don't know what's around that. But what's fortunate is I've seen a lot of people in pain. Unfortunately, in the hospital setting, in some of those settings, you're prescribing medication, pain medication for that pain, and you're preparing them to be able to be more functional. What we do in functional medicine is we turn things around and try to say, okay, you're going through a healing state. And so no matter if it's like an injury or a brain injury, whatever it is you're dealing with, could be emotional trauma, could be some other things, could be something internally with your digestive system. But any of these healing states, you just have to understand, you've got to give yourself permission to go through it and to understand that if you do not nourish the body properly, the body will send out a lot of signals and tell you it's time for you to pay attention. And so anybody that's got some of these issues where maybe you're just waking up in the morning and you're just constantly nauseous, you can't eat your food and you don't feel right, you know, that could be the beginnings causing their behavioral issues.
Speaking of that, some of the diets that you recommend, and do you even use the word diet? I know some people don't like that word. There's paleo, Mediterranean, vegan.
We call food plans.
I like that better.
Okay, so food plans might focus on your mitochondria. So we're going to look at cellular health. You might be somebody who needs cellular health because maybe we got to get your cells working to make everything function properly. There are some other ones that are the cardiometabolic food plan, and that works to help both the heart and the endocrine system work together in synchronicity. So there are several food plans that I look at, and sometimes I can help people to work with a certain set of foods. But the core food plan brings you back to all the basics. But when I see somebody struggling with some really detrimental health issues, I sort of gauge them in a direction that will help them to nourish those cells to work, because they might be going through something called a healing crisis. And we've seen that with COVID, where people go through these healing crises and they don't do so well because they weren't nourished well.
What are some things that you think make you stand out from others that do this kind of work?
I want to say that because of my experiences in several areas, not only just having babies, but also going through 4 C-sections. I had a miscarriage within those 5 years. So I had 5 pregnancies within 5 years. I've been through surgeries. I've dealt with people who've been through surgeries. I've dealt with people who've been through cancers. I was a caregiver. I've dealt with caregiver burnout. I was a mother of a military, someone who's in the military, so you have that aspect. I also had children that went through sports. And so I have different areas that I've had experiences with, food allergies, and understanding what the exceptions are, and what to look for, and how to deal with children like that. And I've had kids who had temper tantrums. And so you deal with all this. But I also have some other fun experiences. We also come from a lot of comedy. And so you have to bring humor into your life, or else
Yes.
you will go down the tubes.
Right.
Yeah, so, and I know you love humor, so yeah, I know that. But when I think about these experiences, it was a combination, because my surgical experience with open heart patients, what I saw in there and what the body goes through in those extremes helped me to understand what someone was going through or what I was going through on my own experiences with pancreatitis and recovery. And so, and also with a concussion. Concussions are devalued in society, and sometimes you're dealing with an unhealed concussion, unresolved, and it can cause some major issues. So those types of things also affect your mood, affect your behavior, and so I can better understand people that I work with.